I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Just every time. Hey, welcome in, kiddos. It's Wednesday, December 4th, 10 o'clock. It's the Daily Puck Drop. It's the go-to guy. It's Jason Puckett. Hey, if you didn't know who we were, we're here. We're back. Of course, the Daily Puck Drop, we do it every single day. We're broadcasting live from the Limbach Lumber Studios. They got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. They have the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. You know what a stock molding is?
No.
Yeah. Old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. I really didn't either until I had to ask them what it was. You got to give Limbach Lumber a call. They're the best in the business in and around the Seattle area because they've been doing it since 1930. Hugh Millen once worked there back in the day. Give them a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them online, limbachlumber.com. You can not only watch and listen to us, by the way, and I got this email earlier today from Travis. Travis, thank you for sending this email. He said, hey, can I listen to the show live? I said, yeah, you're damn right you can, Travis. Here are the options. So, again, if you are, because you always forget, people listen and watch this later, okay? Because it's the pod. You kind of set it up as a podcast, right? And it's, people have devoured that for months. Yes, so for you podcast people that are listening to this later, we go live every day at 10 a.m. on Twitter, at Puck2040, or excuse me, Puck Sports on Twitter or X, and then also on our YouTube channel, Puck Sports. And then also you can listen to it. Just download the Puck Sports mobile app. It's on the iOS, so for Apple, and Android users, you can download the app. You can follow the great Jim Moore, of course, on X, at CougsGo. And, of course, Jim is brought to you by
BrightOwlLighting.com. Has Brian Turner shown up at your house yet, Puck? Because he's going to set you up. He's decorating. What you get with BrightOwlLighting.com, they'll decorate your home or your business with Christmas lights so you don't have to mess with it anymore. Full service design. They'll install. They'll maintain them. They'll put them up. They'll take them down. They'll do everything. If you have a problem, you just give them a call. You can get a free estimate. Call Brian. It's 3 weeks now till Christmas, just 3 weeks. So call Brian at 360-675-2034 or visit brightowllighting.com and get a free estimate and get your lights up right away. I'm going to put some more lights up today, and I'm going to be fumbling around there with a flimsy ladder. But Brian and his crew, they know how to handle it and do the job right. So give them a call.
Sorry about that. I had to leave the show. I had to shut the door.
Where'd you go? I didn't even see that you left.
You didn't. Well, you didn't even notice me.
I forgot one thing, too, that it's only available, unless you're Puck, in King County, because he's a big deal. It's only available in Island County, Skagit County, Whatcom County, and Snohomish County.
Big deal right here. Thank you. Thank you. He's Mr. Turner's coming, I think, this weekend, Friday or Saturday, depending on his schedule.
Yeah.
And I said, no rush, whatever. You get up. I felt so funny. So there it is, professional lighting by expert installers. Look at this thing. Look at this fabulous website, brightowllighting.com. Look at the picture of if you're watching on the stream on YouTube or X. If you're listening, you got to go back later. I mean, look at the job he's doing on that fine house. By the way, that's a beautiful looking house.
Yeah, it is.
He not only does your residential, but he does commercial. Look at that tree. Don't do it yourself. God, no one wants to do it themselves. Have somebody else do it for you. Here's the funniest thing, though. I'm walking the dogs yesterday, okay? Making a turn around the block, coming down, almost home. And I turn the corner, and I see this woman out there. Jim, she's probably in her late 60s. Maybe.
My age.
Yeah, late 60s, maybe early 70s. She's barely moving around. She's got this bulky knee brace on, so something clearly has happened to one of her knees. And she's out there, and God bless this woman. She's putting up her own Christmas lights.
Is she?
And I walked by, and I looked at myself, and I wish there was a mirror there, because I would be like, you are one pathetic human being. You won't even go out and do it. This woman can barely walk. She's 68 years old, and she's setting up her own fucking lights. You pathetic male. You are the definition of a sheep. She's a lion.
Yeah, but you're figuring, what the hell? I'll get it done for free with Brian Turner here, right?
Yeah, I just and then I walk a few more steps down, like a few more houses.
Well, she
down.
wasn't hanging from the eaves or anything, was she? She just doing bushes?
She's doing bushes and all that, but I don't even do that. I hate it. And then I walk down a few more steps.
Why do you hate it?
Because I'm not good at it. I'm just not good at like designing and laying out the lights and how should they go. And I get frustrated. And then they're all wrapped up in one big hornet's nest. And I just, and then I get like 2 minutes in. I'm done. It's just nothing has frustrated me more than in my past of putting up Christmas lights. So that's why Brian Turner is the guy for me.
I'm laughing because, I think Brian, if he were here in Bend, I would hire him to do the job, and it would be a lot better than what I have going on out there. But it's the spirit of the season. People aren't going by and looking at your lights going, oh, God, that guy really did a horseshit job compared to Joe down the street. They're not doing that. They're just thinking, you know what? He put lights up. Like my tree outside right now. Like half the tree has LED lights and then half the tree has, the old-fashioned kind of twinkle lights.
No, people, they drive by, and if you haven't done a proper... my family made fun of me the last time I did it. Like 3 years ago. They're like, what happened? It looks like you got shit-faced at a bar and came home and threw lights up. And I said, yeah, that's kind of what I did, I think.
Yeah. The only time I'm critical of someone's display, I don't know where you are on this, and I don't know why I feel like this, but I do. I'm not into the inflatable stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. It looks kind of Mickey Mouse, cheesy, cheap.
Yeah. My kids love it.
If the kids love it, then you do it.
And we have one, and they want to put it up there. In fact, we bought it years ago before we bought Alder the dog, and we named the inflatable dog Alder.
Oh, okay.
So now it's the name of our dog too. So. Yeah, I don't like it. If I can pay someone to put up my Christmas lights, I'm going to do that. You know what else I'd pay for? Here's a service I'd pay for.
Well, you're not paying Brian. He's coming for nothing.
No, I'm paying him.
What are you doing? Paying gas?
I said anything you want. I said I'll pay you the gas. I'll pay you. You don't have to do it for free. I'll pay you. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. I don't. It's up to Brian. I mean, if Brian wants to comp it, Brian can comp it. I'm just saying that I will pay whatever you want. I just want somebody to do it. But then I think it's a good way I can promote it and kind of like a first-hand promotion. Here's the other thing I'd pay for, okay? Besides being a Puck's Posse community member, besides paying
get that plug in.
I got to get that in. I forgot to get that in, okay? Listen, you want
I'm not even a Puck Posse member. Do I get that for free because I'm a part of the show sometimes?
I thought you did. I thought you signed up.
No, I haven't signed up yet. You think I know how to sign up?
I know. I would just, it's pretty easy. Look at right here. Just become a Puck's Posse community member. The link is a QR code on your screen. If you're watching, click there. It's going to take you right to the website. You can also go to pucksports.com, $5 a month, 10% discount, $54 for a year. Benefits include exclusive content. If you want all of the content, VIP, everything, become a Puck's Posse community member. We've got our wonderful Mariners Diamond Table special that is up. A video and audio version of a 2.5 hours show is there. We're also going to be introducing new weekly content that will be exclusively there for Puck's Posse community members. And then it's December. I gave away the first prize package in November, which is a $100 prize package to anyone that signs up. $50 to John Howie Steak, $25 to Georgetown Brewery, $25 to Flat Stick Pub. Thank you to those 3 sponsors. Jeffrey McDowell was our first month's winner. I got to do one for December. So this reminds me to do the December one. I'll probably will announce it on Friday. So by signing up, again, just for $54 a year, you're going to get a $100 gift prize. But we'll draw a random name. All right.
Wait, now, I just wrote a reminder to myself to sign up for Puck's Posse.
Sure.
I can afford $54.
I think you can. I think most people can. I think I can afford a lot. I pay for a lot of stuff. You know what? Here's the deal. Whenever you start charging for your site, I'll pay for that because I want to read it. And I don't know why you haven't charged yet. Let's go. Jim has.
I told you why I haven't charged yet, though, because I can't.
Look at that.
I don't know how consistent
Substack.
I will be with, churning out content.
You got to rename it. It can't
I don't want to charge people if I'm only doing it once every 2 weeks or something. I appreciate that. I appreciate you want to spend some money to, for my writing, but I need to be more consistent with it before I'd feel comfortable doing that.
Write one every week. You can bang out a column once a week. There it is. Jim's Substack. If you want to follow him, Jim Moore, the go-to guy, Substack.com. It looks like a lot of Cougs content up there. Cougs chaos and uncertainty. What happened to the Cougs? Cougs playoff hopes fizzle. How about write something other than about us fizzling, for God's sakes?
Okay. Yeah. All right, I will.
Okay,
I will.
please.
I'll write about Mateer leaving next week. As much as we want to be optimistic about him coming back and staying in Pullman, it's
I think he's gone, but it's
yeah.
John thinks that too. Canzano, when we talked to him on yesterday's show, which is available wherever you find your podcast and, of course, up at YouTube. Before I get off your website, can I also promote another person's website? Because we love him.
Sure.
Our guy, Ben Fox.
Yeah. I've subscribed to Ben Fox.
Yeah, so do I. He is Ben Fox has been doing. We've had him on the radio show. We had him on, and he's just a great dude. So if you want to get some gambling advice as well, Ben Fox is a good guy that we've had on the show in the past. All right, I think that's probably about covered it for us. Here's the other thing I'd pay for before we get into Mateer. We'll get into Mike Holmgren. We got to talk about Mike Holmgren. I kind of brought it up a little bit yesterday and then didn't really do a deep dive into it. Here's the other thing I'd pay for. Someone to fold my clothes.
Why?
Because I hate folding clothes. I just absolutely hate it. Do you enjoy it?
No, I don't enjoy it at all. In fact, I did it last night. I don't mind doing the wash, though. Like Kathy will always say, hey, I'll do the wash for you. And I'm like, well, okay, but it's not a big deal to throw a load of clothes in the washer and then put them in the dryer. And then I don't separate the colors with the whites. I think that's overrated. That's really overrated. And then I pull them out, and they don't need to be folded perfectly. I just, fold them kind of. It seems like women fold better than men. Have you noticed that? It's like women make beds better than men do. Have you noticed those things? And it's not me being
not true in my
misogynistic household. Or whatever the fuck that word is.
Not true in my household.
Like like a bad human being.
Yeah, no. I'm better.
Don't you? You think you're better than Kaisa?
Yeah, that folding
making a bed.
Yeah, I fold a great bed.
Do you?
Oh,
you get every wrinkle out of it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. I'm really, really, really good. Here's what I'm not good at: loading the dishwasher.
How? Well, that's not tough.
Yeah, well, it's a game of kind of like Tetris, right? I was never good at Tetris. I'm really bad at loading the dishwasher. Really
well, I get in trouble for, putting the nice knives in there because there's some sort of person out there saying, if you put those knives in a dishwasher, they won't stay sharp as long as they would if you did them by hand. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do them by hand.
Hey, there's
Same thing with like frying pans. I throw them in the dishwasher, even though you're not supposed to.
Oh, you can't do that. Hey, how about this? Hey, Abraham, that's a good name. How about that's the new name of your Substack? More or less.
More or less. Thanks, Abraham.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I kind of like that.
Yeah,
it's not a bad name.
Well, I'm toying with the idea of charging for the content that I'm churning out, mainly because this is really a sad development in my life.
No, it's not.
My unemployment runs out the end of December.
Wow, and then you're going to be groveling. And
it's like every time I get a text saying I'm reloaded with another $8.23 a week, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. But that's all going to end. That little party's going to end the end of December.
And there's no concerts, right? No concerts right now in the winter.
No, I'm going to do what Divish is doing, though. I'm going to go to the Bend School District office later today and apply to be a substitute teacher.
Oh, you would be a great substitute teacher.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And you haven't even busted my balls yet or given me a hard time for I had my first Santa shift the other day.
Well, how did it go? How are you as Santa? I need a picture of you being Santa. Come on.
Okay, I'll send one to you. I got to tell you, it was so much fun. It was only 2 hours, and the kids were great. The parents were great. It's fun playing Santa and talking about my reindeer to the kids and asking them what they like most about Christmas.
Wait a minute. Oh, I think you should hide your reindeer to the kids, don't you think? Jesus, man.
But you should do it sometime, Puck. Now you only get like a gift bag to do it down here at the Old Mill District, but I would do it for free. It's so much fun.
No one peed on you.
No, the first family though, there was a little, infant-like kid that was crying, and some of the kids were afraid of me, and so I would get up and let them sit in my chair, and then I would stand behind for the photo, but it was great fun. It was, I recommend it. If someone's thinking about doing it, just go for it because it's great.
Well, everyone needs to hear it. Let's hear it. Come on. Come on.
Oh. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! And then I come out with bells. Ding, 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 ding. Merry Christmas! Yeah, Kathy gives me a hard time because it doesn't sound genuine, So.
Has Kathy asked you to dress up as Santa at home?
She has not. Oh, but she's also working as Mrs. Claus.
Oh, I bet you. Do you like try to maybe, work out the kinks at home and hey, let's, kind of role play that a little bit or?
So far, and this is terrible for Santa to say this, but the moms haven't been quite as hot as I thought they might be to this point.
That's disappointing. I mean, it's
but the elves, I gotta tell you, the elves, they're looking good. The elves are looking good.
Someone's daughter, man.
I know.
She's probably in high school.
There's, I have a daughter, and I know that there's people have said things about my daughter in those kind of tones, but yeah. Okay. Should I feel bad about what I just said there? Do you want to delete it? Was it inappropriate, politically incorrect?
No. That's a good Santa, though. That was a real good Santa.
Was it?
Did you get a little like, there's always the Santas that are drunk. Do you snip off a little granddaddy's cough medicine before the shift or not?
No, but God, after Santa was done, I hit a local
needed a
bar,
Jack
this
Daniels.
new bar down here, the Commonwealth Pub. It was a fun time there.
Did you go into the Commonwealth Pub with the outfit on?
No.
You got to. Next time, I want you to next time the shift is over, I want you to go into the Commonwealth fully dressed as Santa. I mean, and be in character. Slap on the table like, double Jack Daniels for Santa.
That was what I did as me, though. I don't know. Is it okay to get drunk on a Sunday? Because I did. I had a little too much the other night after my shift.
Sure.
I sat there and just I was in the bar.
The Lord's Day.
I was in the bar until the Buffalo game was over. That snowy game.
Jesus, man, a long session.
Yeah, it was fun.
For you. What was the name of the place? Commonwealth what?
Commonwealth Pub. It just opened. It just opened a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. When are you coming down anyway?
We will be down there. I was going to tell you, we'll be down there Memorial Day weekend. We've got a baseball tournament there. Are you going to be there?
Not till Memorial Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
The WCP Bend Memorial Tournament.
You will love it.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be great.
All right. You can come out and watch the kids play baseball. Hopefully,
Oh God,
we can entertain you a little bit.
I will be there. I'll have my red Solo Cup ready to go.
Good. You got it. You got to go red Solo Cup. Hey, how about Mike Holmgren, huh? Hall of Fame finalist. God dang it, man. About frickin' time that he became one of the finalists, and he's going to get in. I mean, these guys he's with, one of the 5 finalists of the Blue Ribbon Committee, Ralphie Hay. And then I was reading somewhere one of these guys murdered his wife, so he's not going to get in. And I'm trying to make light of that, but we're going to put a murder in. I don't think that's going to happen.
Who's that?
I think it's the Hay guy, Max Bond.
You might want to get this one right.
No, I don't really care. Jim Tyre.
Hey, some guy in Seattle accused me of murder, and it
One
wasn't
of them
me.
did. One of these guys has committed murder. Like a murder-suicide. Why is he even on the list? I don't know, whatever.
No, that didn't sound like a whatever.
It's just, he's going to get in. So the committee's going to meet in the Super Bowl. They can take up to 3 of the 5. They got to get 80%. If they don't get 80%, then whoever's got the highest vote gets in. So.
Well, and I think with Mike Holmgren, too, is that you look at some other coaches that are in there, they don't come to mind right now, but I think in the past it was like, wait a minute, how'd he get in with his credentials ahead of Mike Holmgren? And so now they're finally going to make it right. And I think Mike's like 75 now or something like that. So I'm glad they're doing it. And Puck, you and I and people who've worked at KJR, we've gotten a chance to get to know Mike Holmgren. And he couldn't be nicer to me. Even when I was a columnist at the PI, he was great. He let me do different stories about him with his dogs, and he did the Jenny Craig weight loss thing. And he let me write a story
you wrote about him? Yeah.
And so he's like an everyday guy. He's a guy you want to have a drink with. And when you hear him on the radio, he's exactly like that when he's off the air. He's
even better. He's even better off the air. He is, you nailed it. He is one for people who have never met him, may never get a chance to meet him, or know him like you and I know him.
Because let's face it, I mean, you and I are like nobodies, really. And so, but he treats us like we're kind of big deals. He treats everybody like you're somebody. That's the best way to describe it.
We have our own website, and you have a Substack now, so we're a big deal.
Yeah, he's just so damn nice, and I'm so happy for him. And and he gave me a football gambling book too, and I appreciate that.
He loves gambling, by the way. He's a sneaky.
Does he?
Oh yeah, he's a sneaky, fun little degenerate gambler. I've told the story a million times. I mean, when we used to do the draft shows over there, and early on, he'd come over, and he hated. And he still does not like doing it. He does not like doing the draft show because he's not breaking down all the players of the draft. He's not making a mock draft.
Well, you got Hugh for that.
Yeah, he's not doing any of that. He's just there because he likes going over there, shaking hands, talking to Schneider, seeing all the people that used to work there when he was the coach and the GM there. But when it comes down to, hey, well, what do you think of this guard out of Penn State? He's like, I don't know anything about that guy, nor do I care. But what we would do, and I loved it because he's like, I don't really care about this. We would sit there, and I've told this story many times. We would bet $1. We had a standing $1 bet on every pick.
Every pick. So if one of you got it right, you won $1, and if nobody got it right, it was no action.
Yeah, it was great. It was just awesome, and it was hilarious. He is, but just to finish the thought, you kind of were touching on it. He is just, you nailed it. He's just a normal, awesome, fun. Your neighbor. You sit down, and if he wasn't coaching, he'd be mowing the lawn in the summer. He'd be done. He'd come over, sit down, bring a cooler, crack a beer, tell jokes, have a good time. Hey, you want a barbecue tonight? Sure. Let's throw some burgers on. He's a salt of the earth guy. And he's a larger than life figure with this big, big laugh, this big voice, the biggest hands I've ever seen on a person. He's an awesome individual. It's why everybody that works at KJR, it's everyone that's worked with him will go to war for him. And I think so protective of him as well, and mad when he didn't get in years past because he's so deserving of it. His resume speaks for itself. The wins stack up. He took 2 franchises that were dead, and won a legacy franchise that was dead for how long? 40 years almost? And he brought them back to become relevant. They were irrelevant, the Green Bay Packers, since
Brett Favre or Bart Starr.
Yeah, and why am I blanking on
Vince Lombardi?
Vince Lombardi, thank you. God, it's Lombardi show for you, moron. Think about that. When I was growing up, and even probably for you in the 80s and 70s and 80s, they were terrible. They're the worst team in football. And he brought them back, and now they are back to where, since he started there, one of the premier franchises in football. And then for the Seahawks, I don't need to tell people the story, but I mean, this team was going to move. They were gone. We were a laughingstock. And he brought respectability to Seattle. We had some good years in the 80s under Chuck Knox. He brought respectability back to it. It's the winning. It's taking multiple teams to the Super Bowl. He won one. He easily could have won all of them. The coaching tree. I mean, Andy Reid and Mariucci and John Gruden and all these guys. The quarterbacks he worked with, Montana Young and Brett Favre and Hasselbeck. He's so deserving of it. And he'll get in and just can't wait to see him accept it, and his speech will be an all-timer.
Well, and then I just really appreciate over the years when he hasn't gotten in, or we've always talked about like man, I can't believe Holmgren didn't get in. He should have gotten in, and here's why. And you just explain why he should be in the Hall of Fame. He won't go there with you. I mean, he's so humble.
No.
He probably goes home and talks to his wife Kathy and says, "God, I can't believe I didn't make it in again." But he won't say that.
Won't say anything.
He's just a class act when it comes to that. And of course, I wouldn't be. I'd be like going, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I didn't make it into the Sports Writers Hall of Fame or whatever.
Even when I thanked him yesterday, I said, "Hey, I'm happy for it." He's like, "Thank you." One more. Well, we lost Jim. Jim, where'd you go? Just to finish that thought, he said, "You got one more step to go." I'm thrilled for him. I'm happy. I think everybody in Seattle is thrilled for him. And no one is more deserving than this guy. What his contributions to not only just the Seahawks, but his contributions to the National Football League. And we sat there and talked about it. I mean, I think what he did for the sport, what he did for just the NFL, all of it. It's long overdue, and it has been long overdue. And hopefully, he'll get in. I don't see him not getting in. Mike Sando from The Athletic obviously is going to be going to bat for him for it. I think we've got Jim back. What happened? What'd you do?
Nothing. I just
went away.
Just disappeared.
Yeah, it's a great honor for him. His speech is going to be great. He's going to thank a lot of people. He's just it's going to be a really, really cool moment when we get the word. And the guy I was talking about is the Tyner guy, Brad Tyrer. That's the guy.
Was he the murderer?
He was the murderer-suicide guy.
I can't believe I'm laughing about that.
I'm not trying to laugh about it. I'm just saying, or Jim Tyre, excuse me, Jim Tyre.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
you can't put him in.
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to get in. So it'll be great. It'll be great. I mean, he's just had what an impact. What an impact on the sport, right? Impact on two franchises, impact on Seattle. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Is Seattle now one of the destination franchises had he not come here?
God, maybe not. But do you remember when he first showed up here? I think it was over in Kirkland still when they had the first press conference.
Northwest School.
Yeah, and it was just like, wow. I remember just looking at him going, because we all saw him on TV. We saw him in Green Bay, what he was doing there with that franchise. And to think that he was coming to be the head coach of the Seahawks. And then it's great that he's, so many of these guys, they hang around too, even after their career is over. Yeah. Now, he went to Cleveland for a while. That didn't work out so well as, the general manager or president there. But, God, what a legacy this guy has had. And I always enjoyed, and I know you did too, his press conferences. His press conferences were terrific. He'd show up, he'd be sitting there, and it was so casual. And you could ask the worst question in the world, and he would.
Here, let's role play, okay? I know it's not Santa and Mrs. Claus here, but let's role play for a second. Ask a stupid fucking question, and I'll be him. Just something stupid.
Hey, Mike. I don't know why you continue to try and run the ball. I mean, what in the world are you thinking? Why don't you just pass it more than run?
Jim, that's a good question. It's fair. And then he goes into the answer. It was a master class on how to handle a press conference. A master class. Yeah. You and I, we've talked about this many times before. The first name disarming to the reporter, it made reporters at ease. And then what the effect it had was that you kind of like, well, I don't really want to press him anymore. He keeps calling me by my first name. I think he kind of likes me. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
My favorite Mike Holmgren moment when he was a coach, as far as press conferences went, was when he actually did say, we can't run the ball, we're just going to pass it. Yeah. He just came out and said, you know what? Everybody talks about, hey, we need to run the ball more and all that. Well, we've tried and we can't do it, so the hell with it. We're just going to pass it. And I thought, wow. Yeah. I've never heard a coach say that before.
Yeah. He was He's just great. I'm happy. I'm happy for him, his wife, all his kids. I mean, he's got 19,000 of them and grandkids and all that. And it'll be a party. It's well deserved. And I don't know. I don't know if there's a Pete Carroll without him, because I just don't know if there is this commitment to winning, right? If he's not there, I just don't know if there's that great commitment to it. So. And that's a lot.
So
of
all-time best
Paul
Seahawk
Allen.
coaches, I guess he has to be number 2 to Carroll.
Well, yeah. I mean, he just got. Listen, Pete Carroll's the best coach ever. I mean, he got a Super Bowl title. But that's the weird. The funny thing is had he, had Holmgren won it, then maybe you say Holmgren. But I mean, we got three.
Better officiating. He might have one too.
They're both great. But yeah, I think you got to give the nod there to Carroll. But God, he had he was some good drafts. He was better at evaluating talent than people realize. And he just was fun. My God, he made John Kitna good.
John Kitna was good.
Yeah, but John Kitna was like really good. But like really good underneath him. John Kitna.
That's Tim Booth's favorite quarterback ever.
I love John Kitna. John Kitna was a good quarterback. Central Washington, Dennis Erickson, all of it. Come on. He was fun as hell.
Yeah.
Was he related to Erickson somehow? Not the deal. What was the deal? There was a connection between Erickson and Kitna. What was it? Other than he was a quarterback, right? He was with Erickson's last year. Kitna was on the team, I believe.
I don't know. They both like to drink. Is that is that part of it, or?
They both like to drink. Jesus.
You ready to go to Rob Staton now with that?
You want to talk to Rob, or you got things to do?
Yeah, I got things to do. I want to say hi to Rob, though. Can I do that?
Yeah. I want to ask you something real quick. We didn't get to can college sports be saved? And maybe we'll table it to Friday. You think it can be saved? You think the current construction of this sport can be saved, all of it? Or is it dead forever? Are we done forever? Is it ever going to come back to normal?
We're done forever. I think we're done forever. It's in our situation with our school. I think we're done forever as far as being a big time player in college football.
Yeah.
And people that go, well, you've never been a big time player. What the hell are you talking about, more? Well, fuck you. Okay. We were a big time player at times. 97 season, we were big time players.
I'm just saying all of it, just the sport itself. Do you think it ever, all of it, does it correct itself ever? I'm watching UCLA.
Well, I mean, what's your definition of correcting itself, though? Because it sounds like we're headed toward these super conferences, which we're already there anyway. The Big Ten has 18 teams.
Like the regionality of it. Is it going to come back? Like I'm shaking my head last night, and I thought first person I thought of last night when I'm watching UCLA and Washington play in the Big Ten opener is the late Bill Walton, probably rolling around in his grave, going, "What the fuck are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing?" And then my second question is to whoever. At the Montlake Futures Collective that paid that guy $3 million, I'd get your money back for that guy right now.
You talking about that great kid?
I would demand my $3 million back. That dude ain't worth $3 million at all. Not even he's a good player. Not $3 million worth. I'll tell you that. He had 8 turnovers. 8.
Did he?
8 turnovers. He's not
How'd Zoom look? I'm asking you these questions, and I was kind of half-assed watching the game.
Good. My point was the Zoom and then the other kid, the Harris kid, they're the 2 best players. Zoom is going to be a star. I mean, I watched him at Curtis. Zoom Diallo is going to be a star. He's going to be fine.
Hey, the kid with goggles. Have you ever seen a weirder basketball-looking player than that kid?
Yeah, but he's a decent player. He's a good role. But Zoom's going to be a star. I love watching Zoom Diallo play. He plays it the right way, hard, fast, physical. But this dude they paid $3 million for. Whoever's over there at Montlake Futures, get your money back, man. Get it back now. He was 6 of 11 from the free throw line. Jesus, what did you pay money for? Get it back.
Hey, we can get into it Friday. I mean, Rob Staton's, he's probably getting tired of being on deck.
I know. You want me to
but
pull him
on
up?
Friday, we haven't even gotten into the, Oregon smashing the Husky helmet at halftime. I love that story. That was awesome.
Well, I didn't even know about it until I saw it. There it is.
Here for one half. Right now, our offense is rushing.
My question is, where do you get the helmet?
I don't know.
You can't just buy helmets, can you? So did he steal it?
We talked about bashing heads.
I mean, that looks like a real helmet, Jim.
Oh, that does look like a real helmet. And then
So
who
did he
was the guy
steal
with
it?
the sledgehammer?
Is that Tosh Lapoy?
It might be Lanning himself.
I don't think it's Lanning.
Well, how do you know that?
It kind of didn't look. It didn't look like. Yeah,
Okay, now
that's a real helmet, man. Where'd
So
they get
it'd
the
be
real
like,
helmet?
well, of course you're a coog that thinks that's great. I would think that's great if Jed Fish had done it to an Oregon helmet.
Jed Fish couldn't pick up a sledgehammer. Look at the guy. Jesus.
Yes, he could. No, and then, all this stuff, everybody's all upset about flag planting. God, I mean, that was one of the greatest moments in Cougar football history.
Yeah.
It was when Delora planted the flag at Husky Stadium, and everybody's like, oh, we can't do that
If somebody
anymore.
was smashing a Cougar helmet, I'd be pissed. So, I mean, you think they're going to file that one away next year? Of course they are.
No, I know.
they're
But
gonna
did
file
you have a
that.
problem with Oregon doing that?
I don't care. It's not. I don't care about those two teams. So
I thought it was
whatever.
fun. It added to the pomp and pageantry of college football. I mean, what the hell? They hate the Huskies, and the Huskies hate the Ducks.
Yes,
There's proof of it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Before we get Rob on, Rob, you're going to spend a few minutes with Jim here. Can we talk more on Friday about this golden at bat rule? Have you seen this story that baseball wants to do?
Yeah, I have seen it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you like it or not? Do you like it or? Oh,
I was thinking about it this morning. No, I was thinking about it this morning. I thought I was going to hate it.
Okay.
But I don't hate it, but I just say I don't like it, but it's not to the point of hating it or despising it.
Okay. All right, Rob Staton. We're going to talk a little Seahawks football. Rob Staton is going to join us right now. It's brought to you by Superior Linen Service, family owned and operated since 1926. Superior Linen Service committed to delivering the highest quality products and services in the greater Puget Sound area. Get your free quote today at suplinen.com. Give them a call, 253-383-2636. Check all of Rob's work up at SeahawksDraftBlog.com, his video content on his YouTube channel, at Rob Staton Football. Follow him on X, at Rob Staton. The man never sleeps. Does he, Jim Moore?
He does not. How are you today, Rob?
I'm very good, Jim. How are you?
Oh, man, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's been a strange week, so it's good to see you guys.
Oh, well, what's made it so strange?
Okay, well, so I don't think you guys have this in the States. So in England, the majority of press boxes are in the stands with the fans. So you don't have a separate press box. You sit with the fans. And that includes written journalists. That includes radio journalists, everybody. And I did a game on Sunday. I covered a game. I commentated for the BBC. And for the whole way through this game, this family sat in front of me just gave me non-stop grief all the way through the radio commentary. But we got the last laugh because the team that we were covering scored a goal in the last 15 seconds to win. So it was very amusing.
Did you handle that with class, or did you get in their face or anything?
You got in their face, didn't you?
Listen, the only thing I'm going to say is that I took my pen and simulated a cigar.
Oh, okay. Can you imagine that in the States? Oh, my God. Jim, if you were sitting in like the 50-yard line, or let's say you're in they wouldn't put you at the 50. They'd put the press like in the Hawk's Nest with all the drunken and with all the drunks. Can you imagine? Hey, F you more! Like throwing beer at you as you're trying to write a story or
Yeah, no, Rob, I don't understand that. How are you able to do your job?
Well, I wasn't on Sunday. It was crazy. There's a lot more to it as well. And some things I'm not going to get into, but it was absolutely ridiculous. And this is not the first time this has happened. We have had, there is a football team in England called Millwall. I don't know if you're aware of that. That is where like the big, they're the most aggressive fans. They're the fans who have got the hooliganism side to them. And they will regularly turn around to you. And I mean, this is an American thing, so I can probably, I can't say this. I'm probably not allowed to say this, but when we were there with them a few weeks ago, this guy right at the end of the game turned around and I thought he's going to say something here to me and the guy I was commentating with. I'm thinking, yeah, he looks as if he's itching to say something. And it was just building up like a volcano. And then he just shouted, I'm going to say a different word. Okay. But people in Britain will know the word that I mean. He went, anchor. And if you put a W in front of that, you will know which word I'm talking about. Yeah. And he shouted that right down the microphone.
You can say it here. There's no rules.
Yes, I know you can say it, but this is on YouTube, and I can't say it on YouTube. So, but you can't say that word in England. Like you can't. That is like a big no. You can't use that word straight down the microphone. So it's quite clear.
That's good stuff. All right, Jim.
Yeah, what I want to know is, did you get your car back?
No.
You never got your car back?
No. The police didn't do much there. I had to go down this. That's another argument. I went down the street and tried to get all the CCTV. Basically, investigated it myself. Passed it all on to the police, and it's called a Hanoi theft. So what they do is they target certain cars over here, and then they send them off to parts of Europe and Africa. Mm-hmm. So. It's probably somewhere in Serbia, Russia, Morocco right now, never to be seen again.
Yeah, that sucks, man. That's just awful.
The worst thing about it was they broke into the house with the kids upstairs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't like
and they tore the house apart trying to find the key. Yeah. I mean, who can't find a car key for crying out loud? It was in the box by the door. So, yeah, really bad.
Wow. Sorry to hear that, Rob.
Yeah, that's no fun. All right, Jim, we'll see you on Friday.
Sounds good, Puck. Good to see you, Rob.
Go Cougs, Jim.
Hey, go Cougs, man. Thanks a lot.
There he goes. There he is. Jim Moore every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by Bright Owl Lighting. All right, Rob, let's, God, that's the breaking into your house. That's just terrible. I mean, we talked about that when it happened months ago, but God, that just sucks, man. That's just terrible. And then, especially with your kids home. I don't know how you make that transition here to the Seahawks, but we'll somehow do it.
They stole the win at the weekend, didn't they?
They did, man. Well, that was just, I keep using the same phrase everyone uses. It was just one of the most drunk Seahawks wins that you could ever imagine. It was. I mean, it just, everything that could have gone wrong did, special teams wise, the offense, short yardage, 19,000 plays from inside the 5. You couldn't score, but at the end of the day, they won the game, and they're, God, 7-5 a month ago. We're talking about, hey, well, if they lose these games, tank the rest of the season. And now they're in first place. It's wild.
It is, and it's great to see the defense play in the way that we all kind of hoped it would play. Like we all thought Mike McDonald would come in, fix the defense at the least. Whatever happens this season, as long as you go into the offseason feeling like the defense is on the right track, then that'd be a really big positive. And they showed a few good signs against the Rams when they lost. They showed a few more good signs against the Niners when they won. It's now 4 games in a row. So the defense is in a good place. Leonard Williams has been unplayable for the last 2 games, which is, it feels as if every team in the NFL has had a player who can do this on their roster over the last decade. And the Seahawks have not had a defensive lineman who can just completely wreck and destroy a game. The nearest thing we've had was that 1 game from Jadeveon Clowney. Well, maybe 2 games because he did it against the Eagles in the playoffs as well. But to see him playing the way that he is, the secondary's playing a lot better. Julian Love looks superb at the minute. Ernest Jones and Tyrese Knight are doing a good job. They're a fun unit to watch, and you just can't help but wonder if the offense could just play a bit better. Like, they'd be a really tough opponent for most teams. But sadly, as the defense continues to rapidly progress, the offense is regressing, it feels, every week.
Yeah, it's weird. What do you make of the slow starts?
I mean, it's the slow everything at the minute. The running game, they can try and run it. It felt like they were trying to establish a running game against the Jets until it was losing 3 yards on every single play. Then you sort of look at the passing game. I think Geno Smith's going through one of those runs where he's not playing as well as he was earlier in the season. He didn't have any huge back-breaking mistakes in this game, but he was holding on to the football. He was taking sacks. He didn't play particularly well. The offensive line that played so well against San Francisco has been really bad for the last 2 weeks. So you're back now to thinking, okay, Oluwatimi is probably not the answer. Laken Tomlinson definitely isn't the answer. Right guard, they've decided that Christian Haynes isn't even good enough to be the backup now. He's the third string right guard.
That's unbelievable.
And look, I had a look at the numbers for Charles Cross. He's given up the second most pressures and the second most hurries in the NFL this season.
Yeah, he hasn't looked sharp, though, especially the last few games in particular.
He's given up 4 sacks in the last 3 games.
Yeah,
he's not playing well, and he's been very, very average for most of the season. He had a good start against Denver. He gave up 10 pressures against the Detroit Lions, 10 in a single game. Like he's not the player that I think a lot of people think he is, that he's this surefire, pay him in the offseason. Doesn't mean you replace the guy. Like, it's really hard to find a good left tackle, but I don't think you rush out and pay him either and extend his contract and feel like that's one position sorted. At the minute, all 5 positions, what we were saying all summer, like all 5 positions are a question mark. Mm-hmm. And, Abe Lucas is a question mark because he's only just come back and we need to sort of give him some time to settle into things. But every single one of those offensive line positions, there isn't one player go, okay, you've got him. He's going to be your, let's say, left guard for the next 5 years. He's going to be your center for the next, he's under contract, or we've drafted him. You hit on that pick. They've not hit on anything really. And that's the biggest problem with the offense. I am personally in the camp of what is Ryan Grubb doing rather than one who thinks he just needs time. I think it's crazy, some of the stuff that's going on right now with this offense. I mean, have you seen the splits between, like, they are telegraphing what they're doing. Like,
but Ken, just to defend him for a second. So I haven't seen the split. I have what you're talking about, the splits and telegraphs. I want you to pick that back up. But what can a coordinator do if you can't block?
Well, the blocking certainly is one of the biggest issues that has dogged the offense, and for that reason, I suppose you could say that it's one plausible excuse. I mean, one thing I would say though is the Seahawks are not the only team with a bad offensive line, and there are other teams with equally bad offensive lines who are making life easier for their offensive linemen by being a bit more creative. So the splits, for example, when they are in the shotgun, they are throwing 75% of the time.
So they're tipping their hand.
And when they're under center, they're throwing 25% of the time. So when you see, if you're a defense and you see Geno Smith under center, 3/4 of the time they're running the ball.
Yeah.
And when they're in the shotgun, 3/4 of the time they're throwing the ball. I mean, like, it's just making life too easy for defenders to sort of know what the Seahawks are going to do. And you've got to be more creative than that. And then they're not. And he is not getting the most out of Ken Walker and the running game. I mean, like, even bad offensive lines can run the ball better than Seattle currently are. And DK Metcalf has obviously had a bit of an injury. He's kind of disappeared. Tyler Lockett doesn't seem to feature much at all these days. Everything funnels through Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think it's a worry. I don't think their philosophies are meshed whatsoever. I don't think McDonald and Grubb are on the same page here.
What do you think?
It worries me.
Where are they at? Well, and that's it's an interesting point. I'm just curious about it. I do think the offensive line plays a big part in that. But again, listen, those stats that you point out, I was not aware of that. I mean, the fact that they're in shotgun, and then when they're in shotgun, they're throwing 75% of the time.
I can bring up the numbers for you now. So
and then under center, they're throwing it 25% of the time. So basically, you're telling me they are never going to play action when they're under center, ever.
Yep. So Seahawks pass rate under center is 25.9%. So 26% they will pass under center, and it's the complete opposite in the shotgun. They're 77% of the time they pass in the shotgun. So they might as well just come out with a big sign and go, it's a pass, everybody. And that is not helping them at all. And you can find all of the analytical stuff, and you can probably make an argument for absolutely anything. There's so much analytics in the NFL these days. But DVOA is something that I think most people pay some respect to. They have the worst offense in the NFL by DVOA since week 7. And that to me, Paul, just makes me think this isn't working, and that they should have worked out some wrinkles on the offense by now, that they should have found something that works for them. And everything, like I say, the run game's getting worse every week. Geno's getting, he's not bad all of a sudden, but he's getting a little bit worse every single game, in my opinion. And people like DK and Tyler and Lockett and the tight ends not really featuring at all. It's just Jackson Smith and Jigba. So I just think we're going to get to a point here where they're going to have to get somebody who is perhaps a bit more experienced and more aligned to what Mike Macdonald can do for next season.
So are you saying you ready to move on after 12 games from him?
I mean, I'll wait till the end of the season to have a firm I'm ready to move on, because like if they turn things around in the next few weeks, it'll look ridiculous saying now I'm ready to move on if they do turn it around. But if it stays this way, then I think it may be inevitable. Pete Carroll did it after 1 year, moved on from Jeremy Bates. So it may be that they have to go and find somebody who can actually put the offense together that Mike Macdonald wants. And let's not forget, when they hired Grubb, it was very late in the hiring cycle because Macdonald got Baltimore Baltimore got deep into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You then had to wait to hire him. By that point, a lot of coaches had been appointed. And then you are out trying to find who's left. All the talk was that they wanted Arthur Smith, who's the coordinator for Pittsburgh. He's doing a great job, it seems, in Pittsburgh. But they couldn't get him because he'd been hired at that point. He couldn't wait around forever. And they've gone with Ryan Grubb. They've taken a chance. I admire them for doing it because he had such a fun offense in Washington. What we're watching now does not look like the offense in Washington.
It doesn't, but I do think it comes back. I just going to put a little bit more on the offensive line. I think, listen, they still have one of the top 3 passing offense in football right now. I just don't think you can do anything if you can't block. I think you could get Mike Holmgren could be the offense coordinator. Pick your favorite offense coordinator in the history. If you cannot block, and there are times it's not just like, hey, we can scheme it up better. I mean, you got guys missing blocks. Not even blocking guys. I just think I think it makes you gun shy as a coordinator. I'm not saying he's been great. I mean, there's certainly some stuff to be critical of him. I would say, we do want to highlight, what happened against New York right in the red zone. A better throw from your quarterback, you're not even in the red zone. That should have been a touchdown to DK.
Yeah.
That should have been 6 points. And then when we get later into that situation, okay, we want creativity. I didn't like the first play. I may screw up the order here. I didn't like the fade to DK. Listen, he just got done running down the field. He's tired. I don't know. I just don't. To me, go back shoulder maybe, but I didn't like the fade. He looked winded, and you're going against Sauce Gardner and whatever. Later in that they tried to run the ball. They had Walker on the field for some run plays. They tried to run it. They couldn't do anything. I mean, they gets blown up because they can't block inside. The one where DK gets the PI on him. I mean, listen, that was going to be a touchdown had that guy not basically tackled him. And then the other one where your quarterback just flat out misses Noah Fant. That's 6 points. I just think the conversation shifts a little bit there had he made that throw.
Yeah, a couple of things. Firstly, on the passing offense, they've got the 3rd most yards passing in the NFL.
Okay.
The problem with that, though, is that it's a little bit of a red herring because they also have the 5th lowest rushing yards. So generally speaking, like teams will get a set number of yards. It's just the distribution of your yards.
They're relying on that way too much.
Yeah. So they pass rather than run, and they pass a lot more than they run, so they get a lot more yards that way. I think that sequence, you're absolutely right. Geno Smith, it's an underthrown ball, should have been a touchdown. Don't like the fade. Don't spider Y2 banana and a fade and running up through the middle. Like that's what you've got. I mean, I've talked about this with Jeff on my streams as well, is that it does feel a little bit like when you get into the red zone with this offense or into short yards, it's just like, let's run the NFL play. What would John Gruden do right here? Like, and that a bit more creativity. The Lions were a great example of that on Thursday night on Thanksgiving, whereby they fake the pitch to Jahmyr Gibbs. Goff stands back, rockets it straight into Sam Laporta, who's running inside on a slant. Jared Goff celebrates like they've won the Super Bowl because they've worked on that all week. It's a little wrinkle. We're going to pretend to pitch out to Gibbs, fire back to the tight end. It's such a simple, clever concept. You are the Seahawks. You've got a bad red zone offense for the last few weeks. Why haven't you spent time in the week coming up with a killer play like that for that situation? So they hadn't. It was very, very football 101, run up the gut, spider Y2 banana, fade. Like that. These are all the things that conventional teams have done for years. It's not very exciting. It's not very creative. And The other thing is that really bothers me about this offense is how many more? Is this like 4 games in a row where they haven't been able to get a yard on multiple plays? Again, the line is bad. I get it, but eventually, as a coordinator, you have to go, this is the line I've got. We've got to be able to get a yard. Find a way to get a yard. And he can't. There's 4 games in a row. They've not been able to get a yard.
Yeah, I think there's moments, and I love Walker. I think there's moments that Walker does get a little, put the ballet shoes on, dances a little too much. I think sometimes he just needs to go and hit the hole and hit it hard and just go. I don't like they're relying on Zach Charbonnet. It feels like there's this community that is just split on this guy, and they hate him and they love him. I don't love Zach Charbonnet. I think Zach Charbonnet is a good backup running back. I think that there are too many times where we need 1 or 2 yards. We are relying on him too much. It's just they love that one play, and it is becoming a little predictable when they have him on the field, basically as the fullback with that fullback dive, and then they bring Walker in motion because they never do hand it to Walker. And there has been no alternative play based off of that, right? It's always the dive to Charbonnet. Now, I think on 2 occasions it didn't work against the Jets, and then on 1 occasion it did, which was the eventual game-winning touchdown. But to your point about the lack of creativity, there has to be a play off of that, right? There's got to be an alternate play, whether it's handing it to Walker on the sweep or faking it to Charbonnet and Walker's going out in the flat for a pass, or there's Barner, whoever is in there as a wide receiver is going downfield. So I do sense that, and there needs to be something coming off of that play because they kind of rely on that one, and every time they line up in it, you just know that Charbonnet is getting the ball.
Geno Smith was statistically one of the best play action passers in the NFL over the last few years, and he's one of the worst this year. There's just a long laundry list of issues with the offense, and again, we all acknowledge the offensive line is really, really bad. Like, it needs some major work. But here's another statistic for you. They have had.
Hey, Rob, let me just jump in there, though. Do you think part of the reason they don't do the play action, I'm wondering, is that, okay, you go play action, you got to turn your back.
Yeah.
And then as Geno's like, listen, I can't turn my back because it's a turnstile. I turn my back, and once I look up, I'm getting hit. I'm wondering if that's why they're hesitant not to do it.
It's an incredibly plausible argument for that. I think that there are probably, especially if you want to be a run-based team, and if you are going to set out early in games to run the ball, then if you set out doing that and then play action off it, then it can actually be quite effective. It can keep opponents on their heels and stop them attacking the offensive line. Like I suppose it's a chicken or the egg situation. Do you have to have everything right before you can play action, or does play action help you in a way that it will take some of the aggression out of the defense?
And you've read a lot of stuff and probably have talked to a lot of people. There's even people, there's stats out there that will prove, even if you don't run the ball, play action works. It always works, even if you're not effectively running it.
Indeed. Look, I think this is it, though. Like, when you are a team, and this was the same with under Carroll, when you are a head coach who says that we want to run the ball as often as Mike Macdonald does, and your 2 running backs have combined for 100 yards only twice this season, in week 1 against the Broncos and in week 3 against the battered and bruised Dolphins. They've not combined for 100 yards since then. Like that, it's an issue. And they are going to have to rebuild this offensive line. And look, the last thing the Seahawks need is yet another big coaching change, another voice installing his plays.
Yeah.
And for that reason, it might be that they bless Grubb with another year. But you have to make that call for the right decision. It has to be because you believe with time he will get it right. And unfortunately, at the moment, and there's still, 5 games to go in the regular season, plenty of time for him to turn this around. At the moment, things are trending towards there are just very, very few reasons to persevere with this rather than going out and maybe hiring one of these fired head coaches who are going to be available in the next few weeks.
And I know the offense is kind of taking a step back and the defense is jumped forward. But let's remember, before they made some changes on that defense, in the first part of the season, it was the defense that was the problem, and it was the offense that was letting them at least stay alive in games.
Absolutely. And that's the thing.
So I guess the point is, like, what's the equivalent to what they did with the linebackers, right? They get rid of the linebackers. The equivalent would be the offensive line. And I'm just wondering if did something like that, you know, and then maybe now the playbook opens up. I would love, you know, you and me and Grub, you, me, Grubby, and whoever else gets to sit down and have a pint. Although you don't like to drink beer anymore, right? You're more of a
Old fashioned.
You're an old fashioned guy. I forgot about that. There's nothing wrong with an old fashioned. I enjoy an old fashioned myself. The three of us are going to sit down. Can you make an old fashioned, Rob?
Oh no.
Oh, you can't make it? Oh, come on, Rob. It's a
No.
skill that a man needs to know how to make. All right.
I can't change a tire either, so I'm thoroughly low on the man points there.
Can you grill a steak?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna have a Manhattan. The three of us are gonna have not a Manhattan. We're gonna have a old fashioned together. I would like to know from him after the third old fashioned, how much of the playbook can you get into right now? Like, what's the percentage?
And I'm sure that's the argument he would make. Like, there are so many issues on the offense that I just can't figure this out. But the funny thing is, you know, I actually had a look at the comparison because I was doing a piece on Sam Darnold versus Geno Smith, and I wrote an article about it. Like, what is, because look, I'm not suggesting that they should do this.
It's interesting though.
But you're talking about, like, if you signed Sam Darnold, let's just say for the sake of an argument, you signed him next season, his cap hit, like if it was the same as the Baker Mayfield contract, which is what I would imagine he's going to get, his cap hit next year could be $7.5 million. Geno Smith is 38.5, and if he hits this yardage escalator, it's 40.5 million next year. So that's the difference. If you extend Geno Smith on a long contract, you're extending him into deep into his 30s. A Sam Darnold contract like Baker Mayfield's for 3 years with an out in year 3. You know, he's 28 next June. So it's a 7-year difference between the two players. So that's kind of how I was doing it. But I wanted to see, look, how are they performing? What are the numbers like? They're practically identical across the board. You know, their PFF grade, their big time throws, everything. It's all very, very, very similar. The big difference is obviously touchdowns. Like Sam Darnold has almost twice as many. I think he has more than twice as many of the touchdowns that Geno Smith has now. And the winning record's very different, but, you know, everything else is kind of the same. And then I looked at the offensive lines. Where is the pressure coming from? And their pressure was quite similar between the two offensive lines. They are giving up the same amount of pressures. The only difference was Seattle's right tackle, because of the mess that was Mike Jarrell and Stone Forsythe, was giving up a lot more pressure. Since Abe Lucas has come in, you've eliminated that. So theoretically, with Lucas in the lineup for the last 3 games, you should have seen an improvement in the offensive line. We haven't. The numbers are not as good. Sam Darnold's doing more behind a similar performing line. Yes, Sam Darnold also has Justin Jefferson, but Seattle has good receivers as well. That shouldn't be an argument. Seattle has a better running back than Minnesota has. So there was like a lot of things there to look at, but it was the offensive line that was interesting to me. As bad as Seattle's line is, they are not alone. There are other teams who are similarly performing in a bad way, but it's not preventing them from having more success, creating more touchdowns. They're far better in the red zone. Darnold's miles better in the red zone than Geno Smith this year. That's kind of what I'm looking at here. And you have to build an argument. So if you've got all these things against Grubb, if he turns up to John Schneider and ownership in the offseason and Mike McDonald, and they go, well, go on then, we've got all these reasons why you've underperformed. What's your reasoning? My O-line stank. I don't think that's going to be enough.
Yeah. If those watching on the stream, we're sharing the article that Rob's got up, several articles that he wrote, and he wrote this one about a week ago at SeahawksDraftBlog.com, the thoughts on a big offseason talking points for the Seahawks, in which he just referenced the Sam Darnold. Those listening, whether live on the stream or later, go check it out again at SeahawksDraftBlog.com. Go check out Rob's work there on Sam Darnold. We've talked about it before, and I've brought it up with Garofolo. I think Sam Darnold's intriguing in the offseason, and it's not because of Geno's been playing bad at all. It's just that he's younger, and you don't have the future at quarterback right now, and I just think that if they did pivot, he would be an interesting guy to look at. He's playing great football right now. He just really isn't Listen, I mean, all these guys, and we've talked about this, you've been covering the draft, and, you know, that's kind of where this thing all started for you anyways, that it's about fit, where you go, system, all of that plays such a huge part in all of this. And, you know, Sam Darnold bounced around because he didn't go to good places, didn't go to good fits, didn't go to good head coach, good offensive coordinator. He landed with a good situation, a great situation in Minnesota. And you see the talent. Talent's been in there, right? It's been in there. It's the reason why he was picked as high as he was.
Well, look at where he was when he was with the Jets.
Yeah.
We all know the Jets were
Awful.
a disgrace. Then he got traded to the Carolina Panthers, and he's had to reset after that, and he's gone and spent a year with Kyle Shanahan and now a year with Kevin O'Connell. And you just wonder, well, what if he was drafted by Kyle Shanahan or Kevin O'Connell? Like, where would his career be right now? Is he, like, when I watch Sam Darnold, I don't think, get this guy in Seattle right now. Like, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, I get you.
But at the same time, like you said there, it's the age, it's the ability to have a 28-year-old quarterback with an out in 2 or 3 years. If you sign Geno Smith to an extension, you're going to need an out probably after every season anyway, which is what they had in his current contract. So it's no real difference. You know, Darnold does maybe a bit more of the things that John Schneider looks for. He's a bit more of a gunslinger.
Yep.
What I would say is, what I found was really interesting in sort of writing the article was, we've all know now that it's well known that John Schneider attended Josh Allen's pro day, and he's spoken about that. The media have made it very aware that John Schneider liked Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. They haven't talked about the fact that, because I read this, Brady Henderson wrote an article in 2018 titled, "Why was John Schneider at Josh Allen and Sam Darnold's pro days?" And as time has gone on, that's kind of morphed into, he went to Josh Allen's pro day. He went to Sam Darnold's as well. My hunch is that hasn't been brought up as much because Sam Darnold, up until this year, was a bust. Why would you celebrate that you were interested in Sam Darnold if he's not playing very well? Of course, you're going to mention that you were interested in Josh Allen because he's become amazing. Same with Mahomes. And it just makes you wonder, actually, in 2018, were the Seahawks interested? Was Schneider interested in Darnold? Clearly went to watch his pro day. Didn't go to Baker Mayfield's as far as I'm aware. Didn't go to Lamar Jackson's as far as I'm aware. If he even did one, he had a very weird offseason. I can't remember. Didn't go to Josh Rosen's pro day. Did go to Darnold's. Did go to Allen's. So it makes me wonder, do the Seahawks think, here's an opportunity to really lower the cost at quarterback, bring somebody in, bide our time with a new bridge? I think it's something to monitor. And again, before people absolutely destroy me in the comments, I'm not saying they should do this. I'm just talking about what John Schneider might do. And I think I'm going to be really interested to see what I'd love to know what Schneider thinks about these last 4 games from Geno Smith and how he's going to perform in the next 5 games.
Well, we're going to invite him along when we have the old fashions. He's going to be along the ride for the old fashions. All right,
John's buying.
Yeah, well, of course he's buying. 5 games remaining. They squeeze out 3 more to get to 10.
Yes.
So they win the division. You think that wins it? 10-7 wins it.
I mean, I want to say yes. I think they'll win the division, but having sort of predicted they were going to win the division early on, and then watched that start, and then said they were going to win 7 games, and now they're already at 7 games.
It's fun being wrong. I love being wrong. We're wrong all the time.
I don't mind being wrong. I'm the jinx. Like every time I predict, maybe I should say they're going to finish last, and they'll definitely win the NFC West. So I'm enjoying watching the team again. Yeah. Just please give me a running game to go with this great.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob Staton with us. It's every single Wednesday. It's brought to you by Superior Linen Service, family owned and operated since 1926. Committed to delivering the highest quality products and service to the greater Puget Sound area. Get your free quote today. Suplinen.com. Give them a call, 253-383-2636. Stay up to date with all of Rob's work, including the one on Sam Darnold and other information, other stories. SeahawksDraftBlog.com. His video content up on the YouTube channel, live streams all the time, post-game reaction at Rob Staton Football. Follow him on X at Rob Staton. All right, Rob, we'll talk to you next week. Don't get beat up in the stands anymore, all right?
I'll try not to. Thanks. Nice book.
Yep, there is Rob Staton. You can catch that full episode in case you came into it late up on YouTube. Please subscribe there. Also follow all of the content up on the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. And, of course, always up at pucksports.com. Let's transition from a little football now to a little baseball. We haven't talked to this guy in a while. It's been a minute, and he joins us right now from Montana. Unmute yourself. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Divish, brought to you by the greatest bowling alley in the history of bowling alleys, Chalet Bowl. Washington's oldest operating bowling alley, proudly serving the community since 1941, located in Tacoma's historic Proctor District, family-owned and operated for 40 years, delivering top-notch customer service and a unique 12-lane experience. Check out chaletbowl.com as we shared it on our screen to book your next reservation, experience the best in local fun. Like the hours are there, the prices of the bowling lanes, all of it. Chaletbowl.com. Ryan Divish every single Wednesday with us talking off-season baseball. We like to call it the cold stove. Div, it's been a minute. How are you? How was Thanksgiving?
It was good. It wasn't anything too special, but it was good. It snowed and it was cold as balls here. So,
what's the temperature right now in Havre, Montana?
It's warm today because we're hitting a heat wave. It is 31. Feels like 25, but everything's starting to melt, so that's good. Tomorrow or Friday, it's going to get up to 43, and Saturday 49, but it's going to get back down again. It was we had some below zeros earlier this week, and it's just like,
do you go outside or what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I had to go outside and shovel snow, so I have some lined pants that are, and all this other stuff. It's like my friends just call it just cheeks, because you're freezing your ass cheeks off. But yeah, it's not even the worst part. It'll get worse before it gets better, but it's part of what you sign up for. Also, it's $2 beers at the bar and gas is $2.99. So I can't really.
Yeah, but this is now we're in bourbon time now.
Oh yeah, no,
it's too cold to have beer. We're straight.
Oh no, beer is like an appetizer. But yeah, I know. I got some stuff. My buddy Dan, who's a liquor rep in Auburn area, he hooked me up with some stuff that I took back. It's never a bad thing.
Lost my address, Dan. Come on, Dan. Send it my way.
He's a good guy to know. I'm really impressed with this. Being able to scroll and show articles on the video feed.
Sure.
Did you spend your Thanksgiving working on this? Have your daughter teach you how to do this shit?
I did. Exactly right. You want me to promote your work? I can do it there too. I can
I haven't written anything really good lately.
You've done nothing.
I've written stuff, but it's just nothing interesting.
It's all interesting. Are you going to the winter meetings? They start Sunday in Dallas, right?
I am. Yeah, Adam, Jude, and I are both going because they're doubling up, and really, honestly, like even like the position previews and the coaching staff stuff, people are still reading about the Mariners. I think because they're pretty polarizing. I just mentioned this to Jude and Daniel Kramer and those guys on a text thread. It's just like, they announced these promotions for like in-house promotions for like Andy McKay and stuff a few days ago. And then even like Greg Green, who's like the nicest guy in the world, gets promoted to Kevin Martinez's job. And
salt of the earth, Greg.
Yeah, business side, and then today they announced promotions for some of their baseball nerds in the baseball ops thing. And I'm like, it's just, and I thought to myself, like, I get why they're doing it and they want to be transparent, but it's fodder for the lunatic fringe to just like complain on Twitter. Like like Mariners PR and Mariners, like anytime they post anything, it's just like, sign somebody, do something. You guys suck.
I wouldn't want to be in charge of the Mariners Twitter account.
No,
I would not want that job.
I'd rather take a colonoscopy than do that. It's like jump in a bathtub full of razor blades and dump rubbing alcohol.
Well, think about it. They'll send out this stuff, right, about all these promotions, which is great. I mean, it's fine, but they still have yet to say, "Hey, our president is back."
Well, I think that was technically Kramer's article that Stanton told him that. But,
but still, nothing like a big, post is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
understand why they don't, but
there's just. And I heard you. I was actually listening to your daily puck drop with Jim yesterday. Yeah. When you're talking about Coug fans that want to fire Dickert. I'm like, are you serious? Like,
They're out there
fucking serious? Like, yeah, they've had a bad season. They haven't played well. Yeah. But like this guy, like borderline to tears for this team. He stuck around. He sits there and he tries to fundraise. He goes out. He's more visible. Like everything about Leach, the kind of and not to speak ill of the dead, but like there was a lot of phoniness about Leach when it came to how he handled himself in public. Yeah. There's nothing phony about Jake Dickert. I mean, like,
he cares.
If you don't want him, we'll take him. We'll take him in Montana. If you don't want him,
he cares. And it's listen, there's bumps in the road. I think for anybody, it's his first gig.
The
I
Cougs
just think,
they have loft issues, just like the Mariners.
Yeah.
Loft, lack of fucking talent.
well, right.
That's what
exactly
it stands
right.
for.
All right. So can they improve that talent? I want to get to that because the winter meetings are going to start. They haven't done anything. It's been kind of quiet really on the front, although we'll get into Blake Snell and Juan Soto. Let's start first with the news with Kevin Seitzer, new hitting coach. What's Edgar's role going to be in all this, and then the credentials that Seitzer brings now to Seattle?
We kind of talked about I think a while back during right at the end of the season, like Edgar's role is like the director of hitting strategy or the overseer of it all. He's still going to have probably more influence than he did before. Even before when the old regime was here, Edgar was still at almost every home game pregame, but he would leave before the game because he didn't want to stay and watch. I think now he'll be at more home games. He'll be there longer. He'll still oversee the overall hitting philosophies that they're trying to input to all these guys. And I think the one thing is like he's still going to travel some. He'll still be around. And for the center fielder, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, like we saw the impact he had on the center fielder. We saw the impact he had overall on the whole team, but the impact on the center fielder matters. So I think that's the big thing. It's like, okay, he's overseeing it all. And then Kevin Seitzer and then the other guy that they hired who worked with him in Atlanta, they'll implement the program a lot, especially on the road, the day-to-day work. Because like I think everybody has kind of different ideas of what the hitting coach does and doesn't do. But a lot of times it's just being there, doing the drills, making sure they're recording everything, helping analyze all this stuff and then building a game plan. Edgar's over there to see the overall approach of it all. So I think, they'll have other guys as well, but it's a good hire. Seitzer's been around. He's worked with a lot of teams. I mean, worked with the Braves last year and last 4 years. I mean, can't complain about their offense. I mean, the only reason they weren't very good this year is because all their guys got hurt.
But why did he not come back though?
I think it was a mutual parting of ways, or as I joke with Kramer that Jared finally drove a hitting coach away because he was so psycho, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's just like sometimes after a while you make a change because you need a different voice, different message.
Okay,
kind of stuff.
There's always a comp, right? When we like football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Grubb's philosophy is this, or okay, what's his philosophy? Does he have one?
Kevin Seitzer, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I wouldn't think there's like any overriding one. I think from what I've read and stuff, it's mostly just have a plan when you go up there, have an approach, understand what you're looking for, but at the same time be aggressive, hit it hard. That's one thing. Like you look at the Braves, they don't. They go after pitches that they know they can hit. They attack the fastballs. I mean, like for a while there, like Acuna and Matt Olson, Albies, they were really hammering pitches. And I think that's a big thing. Sometimes it's, like I said, the different messaging, but it's simplifying maybe a little bit more. And from what I've heard, his approach is maybe a little more simple in terms of like what you're trying to do at the plate versus maybe what Brant Brown was. And like we've said before, Jarrett DeHart was more of the swing mechanics guy, not the approach guy. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Seitzer really, there's only a few different ways to teach the swing, although Aaron Judge's private hitting coach is totally insane on Twitter and screams at everybody. But I mean, like, I think Seitzer does a pretty good job. I've covered so many hitting coaches. At the end of the day, it's like,
my favorite was Paul Molitor's 1 year stint.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, is it the putter or the person putting it? Like, I mean, like, guys like that. I used to joke with our friend Trace that you used to know.
Yeah.
I think he had like 30.
I still know him. I know.
I didn't know if he's locked up in the pen for gambling.
He could be. I don't know. He could
be
for sure.
I felt like Trace was a 300 different putters guy because
because
he had no touch. I mean, like I played basketball with him. It was just like playing with Kevin Shockey, just barreling Indy and everything. But like I felt
the shortest backswing you've ever seen for a guy who hits it a mile straight.
Yeah, but I feel like he was a guy that blamed the putter all the time.
Right.
Like blaming the batting coach for the hitting issues. No, it's not the same. It's not. It's I think that it'll be fine. Like I thought the coaching staff was pretty much the same. That I didn't anticipate a ton of changes on that. I most of the guys were already really tight with Dan Wilson before he even took the job. So and Carson Vitale was really close with Scott, and then and I think he was looking elsewhere, but also the opportunity to be a bench coach and not a coordinator in Miami intrigued him. And I think he's pretty good friends with the McCullough guy that was hired there. Yeah. So, I mean, there's always turnover. I think the big thing is that they didn't lose Trent Blank and Pete Woodworth to somebody else. They were under contract. They didn't lose them. They kept Perry Hill around. I think you're going to need that for Austin Shenton and some guys. So, no, pretty static.
What is Shenton's role?
I mean, so it's funny. Like I just was talking with Jude about this because he just wrote that thing about Alec Boehm and the Mariners that Philly's asking for Kirby or Gilbert for Alec Boehm. I'm like, are they on drugs?
Yeah.
But what Shenton will be kind of a depth piece. I don't think they're projecting him to be in the everyday lineup or even on the big league roster right away. But like he does have the ability to hit. I watched him hit a ball over dead center in Cheney Stadium off of George Kirby on a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. I mean, it was tanked. He can hit. He's just not very good defensively. I don't know that he's a third baseman anymore. Everybody thinks he's a first baseman. I think he's more of a depth piece. But, like if you look at what Alec Boehm has done, he had 2 really good months in his career to earn an all-star thing. And the rest of the time, it's been pretty middling to poor. His defense has regressed, everything else. So 2 good months. I mean, and he's getting more expensive. I just don't see the draw and all that. There's a reason why the Phillies are getting rid of him.
Right. Yeah, that's the red flag to me. That to me is the biggest red flag. There's a reason they don't want him around anymore.
Yeah, and I think, he's had some issues with Philly fans, all that other stuff, but they're looking around saying, well, we can do better than this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that the Mariners should be dumpster diving for players. I think they should be making trades. And if they wanted to trade for Alec Boehm but give up a prospect, that's fine. But you're not giving up a big league piece.
No. The Rojas news surprise you that they didn't tender him?
Somewhat.
Is it just a salary dump?
Yeah, and I think they felt like they could find somebody commensurate out there. And if you look again, a lot like, and I put it in my story, Rojas had 35 games of being really hot, and then the rest of the season he was 185, 221, 3 something. That's not what you want.
Yeah, great hair though. Great.
Oh hair. Yeah, I mean, but you need some production from those positions, and $4.5 million for a utility player when they're already giving Dylan Moore 3. I just think they can get that contract. I mean, if they really wanted to go back to Rojas and say, hey, look, we'd like to bring you back, but we'll give you a couple years at $3 million a year or 2.5, and we'll give you some stability. We'll do it that way, but we're not going to give you $4.5 million for 1 year when we don't even know what role you'll have on our team right yet.
What about this? And hopefully I'm pronouncing his name. Hoi-sung Kim. What's the deal with him? He's posted today, I believe. Second base, shortstop, outfield, 26.
Yeah, it's like the Korean Joey Cora, light hitting.
Is he regarded as the Korean Joey Cora? That's awesome because I'm going to start calling him that now.
No, I was just trying to think of a light hitting second baseman, from back in the day that can run, can bunt. He's good defensively. I mean, he represents an upgrade. I mean, if you got him, you could ostensibly, throw a platoon in there with Dylan Moore and get Dylan Moore as ABs there when there's a lefty up.
And they've been linked to him, correct?
Yeah, they're going to do their due diligence because I don't think it's going to cost very much. He's not a premium player. He's not like Ha-Sung Kim from the Padres, who he would be if you got him to play second base. Although he might be better defensively than JP, though he's had some shoulder issues. You got him, then that's a little bit better. That's a pretty good upgrade, but that'll cost you some money. And I think he had the qualifying offer. So, I mean, I heard a lot. So I was going to text you because I was watching NBA Inside the NBA. Yeah. And Barkley was calling Buddy Hield the Jag, just another guy. And I mean, that's a big,
that is a big, that's a big middle finger.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, Jags. Jags versus dudes versus studs or whatever you want to call it. But, Bob Condotta he's just a guy, he won't say another guy. He's just a guy, but I don't know that Hyun Kim elevates from a jag much because the batting quotient is there, but he'll put the ball in play more as low strikeout guy again. But that's against Korean pitching where you're not seeing the premium stuff either.
Have they been linked to Sasaki, the Roki Sasaki, the young fireballer who's not going to cost anything, which is just amazing? I mean, you get him for nothing. For how long do they get him for nothing?
3 years, I believe.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah. 3 years of typical club control, I believe.
Does it make sense to get him?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. They should absolutely get him. Then it's like, okay, then you don't feel so bad about trading one of your pitchers if you had to do it that way. Okay. Like, I mean, like, even Luis Castillo, you don't feel bad about trading him. With the problem what you run into by trading a big league pitcher is that what you're gonna get for like let's say even if they wanted to trade Luis Castillo, what you're gonna get for Luis Castillo is probably a 3-WAR player at most, maybe a 4 for what Luis Castillo is a 4-WAR, 3.5, 4-WAR pitcher performer most years. So it's like you're not really making yourself better. So yeah, they should look at signing Roki Sasaki because he's young, he's really talented, and he doesn't cost you anything. They'll have to wait. That's going to be the interesting thing, and that's something we'll probably talk about at the winter meetings, is just how the pitching market is going to work because Sasaki is out there and because he's not going to sign until after January 15th, so he can get the maximum amount of bonus pool money. Because this international signing class is already spoken for.
What's the bonus pool money?
It's like you get it's like draft pool. You get a certain amount of money.
Yeah, but how much money is it?
I think the Mariners have like 6.7.
Yeah, okay.
And it goes
like 7.5. Okay,
and maybe it's more than that. Yeah, it goes in relationship to how bad your season was. So, so the teams should
have lost more games.
Yeah, the teams that were really bad, tank for. Saki for Roki. I don't know, but these so they don't. Saki? Yeah, that's Kaz Sasaki. He liked the Sasaki.
Oh yeah, really? You don't say.
Yeah, my mom's maiden name is Sasaki.
Yeah, I don't like Saki. Do you?
No, it's terrible.
I just don't think it's good. My wife loves it. Gets it every time. I'm like, it's terrible.
No. Yeah, so they'll make an effort. They'll make a pitch for him because even if you got him and you wanted to keep your other starters intact, Japan runs a six man or they go every 5th or every 6th day. They have the extra day, so you can modify that right away, or you can trade him. But what and I know you're going to mention Snell. To me, the Snell contract is crazy time.
It's unreal.
I mean, like Scott Boras wins in the end. It's like the house in blackjack. It always wins in the end. Scott Boras wins in the end. But what I do think is the crazier contracts are Frankie Montas 1 year for $17 million. And that guy's been hurt a ton. Matt Boyd 2 years at how much? Like that market of the kind of 4 and 5 starters. If you're telling me that that's what the market is and people are going to pay that for Matt Boyd, then how much is Luis Castillo really worth? Then all of a sudden, $22 million is not that much. Or 3 years of George Kirby.
2 years.
Yeah.
$29 million for Matt Boyd.
$15 million, $14.5 million. Okay. So you're telling me and he's probably a 4 or 5. I like Matt Boyd, nicest guy.
Yeah, 100%.
But 4 or 5, been off injured. So you're telling me George Kirby is going to make 4.5 this year? And he has 3 more years after this year. Yeah. So how much is George Kirby really worth then? Logan Gilbert at $8 million. If he gets $8 million this year, plus 2 more years of club control. So let's say even if Logan Gilbert added $6 million, which is a lot to each year. So he went from 8 to 14 to 20. That's still only, that's not significant per AAV compared to what you're paying Matt Boyd.
And a contender will gladly take that.
Yes, exactly. I mean, and a contender would take Luis Castillo at 25.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They would take Castillo in a trade if he waived the whole thing and agreed to do it. They would agree to do that. Yeah, I saw that. I got back, and I think I was still away last week when I saw the Snell news, and it popped up on my phone, and I'm like, he got what? Yeah. It blew me away. I never thought he'd get that. And I mean, good for him, man. But 5 years, 182. That is unbelievable. You're right, man. That agent just wins again.
I mean, Snell, by the time he actually collects all the money, will be like living back in Shoreline and being like a professional Xbox player. But like, be out there, bro, man. Like, when is NCAA 2033 coming out?
He'll
But
probably
like,
pump it. He'll probably pump it up in a Seattle Select. I know. I got a couple of my son's buddies that play up there. I'll probably pump all that money into that.
Well, I heard he's trying to build a facility that's bigger than Driveline for Seattle Select.
Well,
up there,
jump
up
on.
in the
Hey, Blake, can I bring my son up there, please? Yes.
Can we get an Avesca? Can we do a little? Can I be an instructor? Maybe social.
Yeah.
So no, I think the pitching market, and that's something Adam and I were talking about, was just like we have to rethink what the pitching market is already because of kind of what guys have signed for.
Yeah.
And then you have the Sasaki quotient out there. There's still, Walker Buehler is still out there. I think, the Mariners are in a good position where they certainly don't have to settle for Alec Boehm if you're giving up a real piece. Like, you can ask for real stuff from teams if you're going to do that, even if it's Bryce Miller or Brian Wu. You ask for real stuff because the market is proving to be very expensive. And I think also what pitchers are doing, none of them want to be like Jordan Montgomery, where you wait so late, or even Blake Snell, wait so late and you're not in the camp. They want to be ready to go.
We talked when we did our big roundtable show, the 2.5 hour roundtable.
The one you tweeted about a couple times.
Well, I had to promote it. I did. Now listen, in fairness, listener and viewer, I texted all these guys and said, "Hey, forgive me. I'm gonna blow up your Twitter, your Twitter handles, because I'm gonna promote this show because I want people to sign up on the paid site." And I did tell you, I'm sorry. You're like, it's okay. But I felt bad. When I scheduled all these when I left, I thought, God, this is gonna piss them off because it's like every day I'm sending one out, and I did.
I mean,
I felt bad.
It wasn't like that Mariner Muse account that's got 4 people tweeting from it. So, I understand it's one guy, you're trying to make some money.
It felt a lot. I know.
I was at one point, I wanted you to just like put some headphones on me and do a selfie up close and say the grind is real or something.
I know.
Like
I felt like I'll be honest with you. I felt like when I did it, I knew it was necessary to do, but I felt like a real big douchebag.
Did you make some money off of it though?
Yeah, we've made some money off of it.
I actually got to subscribe just out of,
well, go ahead.
I mean, I subscribe to Capel and I don't really even read that much about the Huskies. I mean, I do, but like, I really do it for his betting picks every week.
He's got great picks. I subscribe to Capel. I love Capel. He's great.
He's a really good writer. Like
he's fantastic.
I wish I was as good of a writer as him.
He's good. His show that he does with Danny's good too. Like he's a good.
There's a fair amount of snark. He lives in the 253.
Yeah.
So
a fair amount of snark. There's a lot of snark.
Yeah, he's
got a lot of snark to him.
I know he's committed. You have to have him on just so he can do his imitations.
Oh, the softies.
Softy. He does a Percy Allen that's really good. He does one of me. He does one of me where I just ask random like statements.
Does he do? I can't remember.
He used to do a Bob Dutton. He did he has a Bob Dutton.
I know, but remember we put him on. We made him like dance for us one time. Didn't he do a Greg Johns?
Oh yeah, he has a Greg Johns one too. He has a
Greg Johns.
He actually has a Condotta one where he's like puts his head down and he'll just go like GK Metcalf.
The Greg Johns though, because you always have to do the Greg if you're watching where you have to hold up. You got to hold up the
notepad with the recorder underneath. Well,
yeah, I don't know. So third inning. Where do you think? A couple of rapid fire before you go. Juan Soto goes where?
I think he'll end up with the Mets.
The Mets for what? 650?
750 probably. I mean, like, screw it. If you're gonna play, just do it. I mean, like, the Mets were right there last year.
God, that's a lot of money, man. What do you think the Mariners offered?
I can't even come
hold on, let me honest. Do you think they honestly at any point in the offseason before got together with John and where Jerry and Justin went up to him and was like, what do you think we could offer?
I mean, like, his contract, I'd rather pay him the $750 million than invest in the Hatback Grill right now.
Yeah, I'd pay. That's why I want Adames. I'd pay Adames the money.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you could really convince Adames to play third, I mean, he says he will because he's not.
I'd play him at shortstop, and I'd move the other guy to second.
I don't think I think JP's a better shortstop than Adames.
Adames?
Yeah.
But what if Adamas?
Adamas plays indoors. That's another thing. He played indoors. I mean, like I'm always leery about guys that put up numbers in the NL Central. Call it the Winker Wong effect.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I mean, like I'm not really anticipating a ton of stuff to happen for the Mariners. Anything. I mean, I think they'll sign Turner or Carlos Santana.
You think they sign both?
No, one of them.
Just one of them. Okay.
It's like the Latin version or the red-haired version of your, like who do you want?
I think it's. Would you lean towards Santana?
I think so. Because I don't. Yeah, I don't think he costs as much. I think Turner's going to wait and weigh his options because maybe like there is a way for him to get back to the Dodgers or whatever. He
wants to win. I think he wants to win. He needs a championship, and I think he may view Seattle as not the team that's close enough to win a championship. The golden at bat rule. Thoughts?
I think it's idiotic. I mean, it's like idiotic. Like
it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life.
Granted, I know it was LA versus New York, but the ratings were sky high for the playoff or the World Series and for the playoffs. I think the pitch clock has fixed a ton. I think the ball strike rule, the automated ball strike rule, where you can challenge balls and strikes, will make things better. I think it's been better. I think they're tinkering too much, but I think it's fine the way it is, and I don't think that'll ever happen.
When is that this year or when is it?
ABS? Years? I don't know. I think they're going to do it this spring, and they're going to test it this spring where you can challenge.
Yeah. So they did it in the minors, right?
Yeah, in AAA. So one of my favorites is Curto called me one time. He goes, Kelenic was just starting to scream at this umpire about a called strike, and umpire points at his AirPods. But then the other one was like, when they had the rule like in tennis where you could protest the call. Yeah. He only got like 3. And he goes, that Cooper Hummel guy would always protest the call like on a 3-0 count with nobody on in the first inning or something like that. And guys would get mad.
I love it. So, give my best to Curto. That's a great run for Curto.
I mean, like, how do they not hire him? How do they not hire him to replace him? Like, because like Goldsmith, from everything I've been told, Goldsmith is going full-time TV, which I think he's great on, and I think
that's going to break my heart though.
Because you like radio, but I
do, but I love him and Gary Hill together.
Well, I know,
love it, but
yeah, well, it's because it's all inside food jokes and
it's just funny. They're good, they're funny, and they play off each other great. And I hope it opens up more opportunities for Gary to do it on radio. I know I'm biased because we went to school together and at WSU, but I want Mike to get a chance. I think good to get a chance. I think when I get really disappointed when guys bust their ass for this amount of time in all these industries, and then just waiting your turn and like give him his turn.
Like I talked to him about it, and he wouldn't let me really write anything on it because he's a pain in my ass. Because he actually told me a few weeks before it came out, and I was just like, "Hey, are you going to apply for it?" He goes, "Well, yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll listen." He goes, "But I'm not going to like go out of my way because I think he's tried several times and they told him no." Yeah. And he told me one year, sadly, I think at a blackjack table in Vegas after watching Cal. Oh my God, the Cal lost last night, by the way. But watching Cal lose in the Pac-12 tournament to Stanford, he's like, "It's just never going to happen for me in this organization," and he goes, "I'm too old to go searching around and move." Yeah. But like guy knows a ton about baseball. He knows a ton about this organization, and I think he'd be a good fit, even if it was like a part-time. If they didn't want him to do, if they wanted him to come in and do 50 games. You remember that one year when they rotated with Kim Levine and Farrelly and all those guys? Bring him in. Good. Let him have some retirement and everything like that. But I'm hoping he gets an opportunity. I don't know. I'm not in great favor with some of the higher ups in the organization, so I don't know that my endorsement would actually help him. It's like anybody that wants to get hired at the Times and ask me to be a reference. I tell them, you want to get hired, right? You don't want me. So, hey, Puck, I got to ask you: Have you watched Landman on Paramount?
Love
Plus?
It. Here's my only. Here's one. I'm over Yellowstone. I'll finish the thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give any spoilers away for people. Whatever. It's stupid. They ruined it, and I don't know who to blame, but whatever, you ruined it. Now his best show that he's ever done, this Sheridan guy, is Lioness. That's the best one.
You think it's better than Mayor of Kingstown?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just that is, but this Landman, I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. My only knock on Landman is his intros to all the shows. The music is great, except for that one.
Yeah,
Like that, it's awful. But the Billy Bob is unbelievable.
he is.
He is my and then the daughter is my second favorite character.
You're just hoping your daughter never acts like his daughter.
When she says the line when they're at the football game.
Oh yeah, about birth control.
I've just let him spray all over me, Daddy. I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't believe they actually uttered that line on the show. He is phenomenal.
And his wife, his ex-wife played by Ali Larder, who was the
great
whipped cream girl in Varsity Blues.
I love how she FaceTimes him all the time.
Yeah, she's straight out of Central Cast. Because I've been to Texas, and they're like that's straight out of Central Casting. Like the character, like some of this stuff might not be real, but the characters, they're real, and like how he is. I mean, it's funny though when you see him, he is.
I'm only through
old.
like 2 episodes. I think how many have there been?
4. He is so old, and he has no ass to fill out his pants. Like when they show him, he's so skinny and gross.
I just love that he just drink. What does he drink? Mick Ultra.
Yeah, because he says there's no alcohol.
There's no alcohol. When he's at the bar and he's like, "Keep him coming." He's like, "I don't drink anymore." He's like, "Sir, you've had 6 of these. Like this isn't alcohol."
He goes, "You want me to crawl into a bottle of whiskey and see what you'll find out?"
Yeah, it's really good. I didn't know what to expect about it, and but so far so good. You know,
yeah,
that dude. I don't know how that guy. I don't understand how he has like
Taylor
that
Sheridan.
much in his brain to write.
He's really prolific, and he's
And
like yoked. He's yoked.
Huge.
He plays that the asshole cowboy on Yellowstone, and Travis or whatever, and like
he's in this season of Lioness early on.
Is he? Yeah, I mean, like he loves himself, but also like, have you seen that movie he did, Hell or High Water, where they're the 2 bank robbers in Texas?
Oh yeah, he did that.
Yeah,
that with
Jeff Bridges as the sheriff.
Yeah, Jeff, and then the who's the young guy? Yeah. That's
Chris Pine
that's a great
they're bank robbers in Texas. Yeah, he did that too.
Oh well, that's why I like him. And I know why. Look at this. We're going to call this the Landman episode. All right. Ryan Divish with us every Wednesday during the offseason Cold Stove, brought to you by Chalet Bowl, Washington's oldest operating bowling alley, proudly serving the community since 1941, located in Tacoma's historic Proctor District. Family owned and operated for 40 years. They got top-notch customer service, a unique 12-lane experience. Check out chaletbowl.com to book your next reservation. All right. We'll follow you along in Dallas. You'll be there for a few days.
Yeah.
When are you back?
Flying back Thursday night. So.
Okay, well, we'll adjust your schedule.
I mean, if you want to do it in Dallas, you can. I can,
sure.
I mean, I still have a rant about how much I hate Christmas. So, that one's
perfect. We can get to that. We'll get to that next week.
All right. Sounds
all right.
Good.
See you, buddy.
See ya.
There he is, Ryan Divish, Seattle Times. Follow him. Get all the updates on the winter meeting starting Sunday in Dallas. Ryan Divish with us every Wednesday. If you got into the episode late, full episode up on YouTube will be up later. Please like and subscribe. Subscribe. Don't like. Well, you can like it, but subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Also, you can listen to it later, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. Of course, always up at pucksports.com. And I should always mention this. Because I got a great email today from Travis who said, do you go live? If you are listening to this later, because I know many of you watch and listen to this later, in more of that podcast form when you've got more time. We go live every single day, 10 a.m. to around 11:30-ish. Now it's 11:44. Live every day on Twitter, Puck Sports on Twitter, YouTube channels, Puck Sports, and then the Puck Sports mobile app. Download. There's 2 versions, iOS version and the Android version, if you want to catch the show live. All right. Hey, What the Puck is brought to you by our friends at Restoration One. I know Divish is now making fun of me because I can share my screen. This is really a big accomplishment for me that I can share my screen. It really is. Restoration One of North Seattle. It's your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online there at restoration1.com. God, I didn't really know what direction I was going to go in today, and I don't know if I want play this soundbite, but I'm gonna play this soundbite because we didn't get to it. This is from our Old Crimson Cougars podcast, and we were talking about it a little bit with Jim when he was on the show. Our Old Crimson podcast is out, kind of the season-ending one. We wrap up the season. We'll probably do another one again when any more news breaks in terms of material and coordinators and all that. But we got into the discussion yesterday with many people who want Jake Dickert fired. I know I did this a few days ago, but just the reaction from the fan base, and this could be anyone's fan base if you want a coach fired, right? And in particular, Jim's reaction to it, and also Paul's reaction to the chatter out there about Dickert's future.
I want to see Jake Dickert fired. Has it reached that point? The people that bothered me the most were the ones that don't want to be Cougs anymore. I'm like going, Jesus fucking Christ, are you kidding me? I mean, I still want to be a Coug. That's one of the proudest things I've ever done is go to Washington State for 4 years. Love my time there. And if you want to fire Dickert, that's your opinion. That's fine. But, God, be loyal to the Cougs. Come on, man.
Yep, USC taking a knee on the 5-yard line up 45-0 against Paul Wolf teams.
Yeah, that
was half.
That was rock bottom.
That's where you can pretty much hit the rock and the bottom of the deal.
I would say this to those, and again, maybe it's a vocal minority. He's 23-20 and basically 3.5 years on the job. And there is no other coach in college in the history of this sport that has taken over a program, especially a program like that, under the circumstances that he did as a first-year head coach. Okay, so let me just tie it back in, Dickert, and a little bit with our discussion with earlier today with Rob Staton about Ryan Grubb. And I understand Rob's point, and listen, everyone's free to their own opinions and thoughts. We do live in this day and age. We are very immune to patience now. And I think we need to kind of pump the brakes and try to initiate a little bit more patience. And I know it's hard. It's hard to do. I get it. We are in a very just win now mode, and if you don't, your out will replace you. In regards to Dickert, I'm just going to tell you, I think it's foolish to talk about him losing his job. It just is. This guy is everything that's right with college football. If he ends up leaving for a different job, that's another story. But to fire him, I mean, yeah, can he get better at certain aspects? Sure, everybody can. Every head coach can get better at something and improve, and he will improve. That guy cares about that program. He wants that program to survive. And he's going to do everything he can, including, signing a decent class today, a bunch of high school kids. He does it the right way, and there's a care about him to it. We're talking 3 years on the job. We used to give coaches more time, but now money and all that has changed things. To flip it to Ryan Grubb, I understand the frustration that Seahawks fans have. I think there was, unfortunately, because of what he did in the previous 2 years, there was this expectation he was going to come in, and all of a sudden it's going to be Washington 2.0 again, with Michael Penix throwing the ball all around place to McMillan and Odunze and all that. And that was unfair, and I think it's unfair for fans out there to think that's what was going to happen. And I think that, he went from calling plays for a team that had the best offensive line at that level to a team with perhaps the worst offensive line. I'm not going to go all around and watch all these other NFL games and tell you what offensive lines, there's offensive line play that is bad everywhere. I will just say this. Of the opponents that they have played, I have seen no offensive line that is worse than this one. None. I don't see guys, Leonard Williams will beat a guy. I don't see guys where they're just completely coming untouched, unblocked, miss assignments and things like that. Not like with this group. We'll see if they get a little bit more continuity the final few games of the season. We'll see if they can get a little bit better. I don't think he scratched the surface on the playbook. I think Rob brings up a good point about, hey, listen, they are too predictable. Listen, if those numbers are the numbers. If they're out of shotgun and they're throwing 75% out of shotgun, and then they get under center and they're only throwing at 25%, that's bad. That's got to change. I think he'll evolve. I think he'll get better. I think there's a very smart coach in there. okay, and to now have an opinion of where you want to get rid of him after 12 games, let's exercise a little bit of patience here. And even patience to get through the season and see what he can do in year 2. There were going to be learning curves for him. He's a first-time coordinator at the highest level in the sport. I worried that there was going to be these outstretched expectations for him. He's seeing defenses he's never seen before. You didn't see this at the college level. There are more experienced defensive coordinators out there. They've seen everything. He'll have to adapt. I think he's smart enough that he will adapt. All right, that's Hey, What the Puck, again, brought to you by Restoration One. There of North Seattle, your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com. Again, sign up, join the Puck Posse community membership, please. $5 a month is all it costs. You're going to get all VIP content, by the way, when you join the Puck's Posse community membership. All the content. You don't want to miss a thing. Become a full member. Members get full access and VIP content. You can go to pucksports.com. You can click on the QR code. If you're streaming it, we'll take you there as well. We have our Mariners Diamond Table show that's up there right now. We'll have new exclusive weekly content coming out very shortly, so you don't want to miss out on that. Like I said before, we go live every day at 10 a.m., usually at about 11:30 unless I go long with Divish. And again, everything is up later, podcasted for you. YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. That helps promote the channel, promotes the product, promotes Puck Sports. Tell your friends, tell your family. Also, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. And as I always mention, everything is always up at pucksports.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a Thursday. Mike Garofolo also. A new feature we started a few weeks ago, the Decor Report. Sean Dugar from The Athletic will join us to talk Seahawks football. So we'll talk to you tomorrow on Thursday. As always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!